So when I work with people, we often work with the body, right? I work with people with movement and with touch and getting into the pain, I guess, the pain or the restriction or the limitation in the body. And we often, I think, just culturally think of the body as separate, right? As this um, functional part of us that is separate from our consciousness, separate from our awareness, separate from our mind, separate from our emotions, that we tend to compartmentalize all these places. And part of what I'm aware of right in this moment is how connected everything is, right? How connected we are to each other, how connected our minds are to each other, right? That sometimes we have thoughts that aren't necessarily our own. Maybe they're the collective, right? Collective fear, collective beliefs, right? Collective conditioning, things that we have believed, collective beliefs, things that we have believed that aren't necessarily our own, and we didn't really come to except through a way of just being passed down, passed to us in school, in family, in community, in church, in our groups, right? And there's no, I guess it's like the understanding that we aren't all separate, either from each other or our mind from our heart. We may try to separate. We may try to, or even our emotions, right? That we might think that we need to do things a certain way, even if our emotions are saying otherwise. Maybe we have anxiety. Maybe we have stress. Maybe we start to feel an emotion that maybe we can't identify, but we're having an emotional response to what we're doing. Maybe we get nauseous. Maybe our breath gets tight. Maybe our jaw gets tight. Maybe we have an event, right? We faint, we have a headache, we get sick. So all a part of our internal awareness or internal, this organism, right? That our emotions aren't separate from our organ function, or right, that our thinking, our thoughts, our beliefs aren't separate from our emotions, are separate from our body. Right? We can have beliefs about something that we may not understand. So it is a time of really listening inside, right? Questioning, right? Sometimes I say I believe something, and then I have to step back and say, is that something that I've just understood or has been passed to me? But I don't know if that's what I believe. What do I believe? So part of the work that I've exploring lately is really just a deepening of movement or body awareness, really body sensation, and really understanding what's happening in the body. And the body has a lot of information, right? That the body knows when, right? And like if my jaw clenches around a particular subject, I know that right, that's something to just pay attention to. I can see or feel a response in my body. And maybe there's a little inquiry into what, and I don't necessarily have to put meaning to it. Maybe I can just notice, whether it's in a conversation or around a certain person or something I see happening out in the world, noticing what's happening in my body. And it's something that has a lot of, I think, it can take us out of our mind and trying to create meaning, trying to kind of filter back through our beliefs or what we think is correct or think we should be doing. And just getting into what is my body experiencing? Am I shrinking? Am I tightening? Am I clenching my fists, my jaw? Do I feel sick? Do I feel bloated? Whether it's a food or environment or a sound or an experience, right? This to me is embodiment, and embodiment can be very contradictory to our beliefs, especially if our beliefs have not been questioned, right? Our beliefs about society or culture or roles, right? Our many, many beliefs and opinions, right? Really checking in with the body, checking in with my shoulders are tight, my breath is shallow, my hips are tight, I have a pain in my lower back, right? That these are all our body's way of communicating with us. Everything, headaches, indigestion, illness. There are ways that our body is communicating what we know on a very, I guess, conscious level or unconscious level. I would say conscious, but we have spent many years not listening. Right. And I think that when I was young, I didn't know how to listen to my body. I didn't even feel connected to my body. And part of that was I was having so many emotions that weren't necessarily understood at that point. I grew up in a period where when my parents were getting a divorce, that they decided it didn't affect the kids. And that when I was having a hard time, it was my own personal experience. It had nothing to do with my circumstances. Right. And we have a different belief culturally now. We know that divorce impacts kids and quite strongly, as well as other things that affect kids, right? School, bullies, teachers, abuse, strong language, being different. So the awarenesses, right? Learning how to tune into our body and acknowledge, I feel something, I may not understand why. It may not even be accepted by the people around me, but to really just say, but I still feel it, whatever it is, and just get curious. All right. I think the main thing that I feel very passionate about is that this inner universe is one, our connection to the rest of everybody else. But when we get really curious and tender and understanding of ourselves, right? And offering ourselves what we often dearly long for, that there is great healing in all of us, in our relationships and our ability to move forward or move through or move with ourselves.